physical therapy place. It's not that they aren't doing anything wrong per se, but it's just they're doing the same things that I would do on my own anyways for the most part. So yeah,
physical therapy locations, almost always from the ones I've seen, are missing key critical components that you'll typically find in a gym. And that's why I think the marriage we're making between what we have and what we're making is going to be incredibly profound for an exact situation like yours. You've got an injury, it's jiu-jitsu related, it's knee. We need to do a lot. We need to do a lot of movements that are going to require hands-on for PT. You're going to be with a clinician, and then you need to be able to do a backward sled push. You got to be able to do it. When I go into a PT clinic, at least the ones I've seen, it's by and large equipment that sort of falls short of the line of true recovery, which has to be, as you know, you regress, then progress again. That progression can only go so far if you're limited to just, half a dozen tables, some massage equipment, and maybe some plyo balls.
And in your opinion, would you say that's done purposely just to keep people around longer?
Interesting. It may be my opinion now. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, just a thought. Because from my experience of having to go to a PA just to get clear to get an MRI.
Oh, that process is so backwards.
Maybe I don't even have to talk about it.
No, please, seriously.
I mean, I don't know. So yeah,
I would. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell him. So the first time I had a scare like this was like 3 or 4 years ago, and the inside of my knee popped. Not nearly as intense, but it popped, and I went in to see the doctor or the PA or whoever, and basically by a touch of my knee told me that like everything was like blown. I'm like, oh, and at the time I was young, I didn't have much experience on the matter, and I freaked out. I remember crying in my car, just like thinking everything was like done for the next year. And then come back this time, with a much different perspective, with a much more serious knee injury too, mind you.
At that time, it wasn't. The PA was wrong.
Yeah. So and then the MRI came back, and then the guy's like, I don't see anything here. There's nothing going on. I'm like, how? Like, because I was under the impression I was about to get surgery, and I remember there being a pop. So then I was confused on how there was a pop, but nothing showed up on the MRI, and so that was that. I don't necessarily expect the MRI this time around to be much as perfect. However. This time around, different perspective. Come in, he feels my knee, basically tells me everything besides my MCL, the one area that I actually feel pain and restriction is torn through. And then basically just tells me rice and then move on.
Which is, I mean, it's like not. I think rice has gotten a really bad name because of the fact that it's been really dispelled. But I do think it has a place.
So there's components
to it that still
absolutely
need to be followed. It's now everybody's like, oh no, don't get in an ice bath, don't do contrast, just get out. That's been debunked. I'm like, no, it hasn't. No. Like that's not your end all be all answer to your problem, but you shouldn't not do it at all.
Yes, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Mention something like that, and then no recommendation of what I could be doing actively to improve it, type of thing. Basically, just wait for the MRI, then get the surgery, and then rice and repeat again. That to me is missing things for sure. But the concept of rice between rice and ice, or not rice, rest and ice and compression and elevation, like all components that could definitely help
you. Yeah.
But the movement is, there should be an M in there somewhere.
Yeah. Rice 'em.
Yeah. Rice 'em. Exactly.
There you go. We'll start that off right now. Someone trademark that. To your earlier point about the MRI, there is a huge, and this is more of a medical malpractice, I think, than anything else. Because I've gone through the exact same thing you're going through.
Really?
Several times. Oh, yeah. Knees, elbows, shoulders, ankles. I've broken or torn a bunch of stuff in my time. Anytime an injury occurs, the very first... And there's this protocol you have to actually go through, as you know, to actually get just the basic information on what's wrong with you. It's like, all right, I got to go to my doctor. Then he's got to send me to an ortho. Then the ortho has to give me an x-ray, which means nothing. I'm like, all right, I don't need an x-ray, man. Yeah. This is ligament. I don't need it. Like, yeah, but we need to. Let's clear it with your insurance. Get your x-ray. Come back. I'll look at the x-ray, and we'll tell you what you already know, which is that you didn't need an x-ray.
Yeah.
Then we'll get you an MRI. Then you'll come back. So now, by the time all that's happened, I've been to see my ortho twice, my main guy twice, an x-ray, and I've gotten an MRI. When in reality, it should be go to my main guy or my ortho, go get an MRI.
Yes.
There should be 2 visits to figure out what's wrong with you.
Verbatim exactly what happened on both occasions, essentially. Yeah. And I remember him feeling my leg around, and he's like pulling on it, and he's like, you're guarding, just relax. I'm like, I'm already aware that my knee hurts. I'm not going to let you pull on it and make it hurt more. I'm sorry.
No. I'm very skeptical with who I let handle
Yeah,
anything.
seriously.
The first thing I tell them, like, look, I don't even need you to don't even touch, just write on your little magic pad that I need an MRI. Let me leave here, and I'll come back to you with some information.
Seriously.
Can we agree to do that?
Yeah,
and they're
seriously.
like, no, we can't do that.
I know.
Do you think it's malpractice, or do you think it's they're kind of covering their own ass, making sure that like they check all the boxes so that you can't sue them later on?
Yeah, and I know that definitely has something to do with it. Maybe there's like a middle ground where you don't have to pull on my knees so much to where it's sore for the next 2 days. You know, that's like my main argument for it. It's like, okay, like I'm telling you, this hurts. Like if you want to like do your touching to say you did it, like okay, but like let's not like make anything worse or just waste time essentially.
Mm-hmm. I think it falls more into the category of malpractice, specifically talking about the process to get an MRI. Because if you look at it from a financial standpoint for the insurance companies, for your doctors, for all of that stuff, 4 visits to them and 2 through your insurance to whatever scan lab you go to for your x-ray and MRI. That's a hell of a lot more money than just saying, okay, something's hurt, here's an MRI. Dude, an MRI takes 20 minutes and it's sitting in a tube.
Yeah.
That should not, first of all, it should be privatized. I should be able to go get an MRI anytime I want.
Yeah, just because,
Why in the world is it, explain to me how that is a liability for the doctor. For me to go and get a scan to bring to you to say, here's what's up. Now, I understand if they were like, okay, I want to see you first once, then I'll send you in to get an MRI. That makes sense to me. It would be almost, I think, irresponsible for you to just send me without even seeing me. That's the way I would like it, but I'm me. I don't really like anyone telling me anything that I don't already know. But the fact that it's this giant circus that you have to jump through these hoops, and everyone has to do it. No one's immune to this, unless you're like The Rock.
Yeah.
He has an image. Do you know about this? He has his own like MRI machine, like ready for
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he talked about it when he was pumping up the LA Lakers for one of his like motivational speeches a way back, and he was talking about his which I want to talk about this too. He was talking about his last match with John Cena where he popped his adductor came off.
Oh,
he ripped it entirely off. Yeah, The Rock did. So he basically, and his sob story is like both intense but also hilarious because you're like, oh, that must be nice.
Yeah.
It happened to him. He's like, as soon as it happened to me, I got right into the jet. I flew home. I got right into my MRI just to figure out. I'm like, wow, listen to that answer.
Yeah.
Like, man, what a hard life. I got in my jet and then I got in my MRI machine. So, but the point is, for someone like that, unless you can pay $500,000 to have your own MRI machine, you have to go through that.